No. No. God, no, why?
Son of a beast! Why the does all this shit happen to me? As far as I can, it's memorable.
Sorry, Captain. My scat is acting a bit shonky.
With a goddamn pig!
Hello, everyone, and welcome to KamenRider Blackman. For today, we're reviewing KamenRider Zio, Episode 9. And while the title is KamenRider Blackman, at some point in this review, there'll be moments where this channel should have been called, or at least this episode, KamenRider WTF Man. As for, I'm just going to get this out of the open, I'm not a fan of KamenRider Gemu. The reason why I'm not a fan is because he is the bad guy who, when they brought him back in X8, after he died, my immediate thought was, fuck him. Just fuck him. He's the bad guy. He's the reason for, like, everything that I'll get more in depth and into once I get to reviewing X8. Anywho, but of course, if you like KamenRider Gemu and Kuroto, that's your opinion. Mine is not valid. So with that said, let's just dig into episode 9. We're starting off with Sogo admiring a picture of Nobunaga, the great feudal lord from the late Sengoku period, and Gates comes along to shit on it.
Look, I don't have your mutually sustained hate boner for the guy, okay?
I don't have a hate boner for him.
Dude, it's a pretty hateful boner.
Yes, Nobunaga has a bad track record, or bad rap, but technically so does Sogo in the future, as he, of course, becomes Omazeo, but he ensures that that won't happen, and he will change it. But now, to really get into this episode, Kuroto is on the news declaring independence from Japan for his corporation. Yeah. Kuroto is planning to break away from Japan and gain independence for his corporation. Because, yeah, a corporation could just disband from an entire country. And keep in mind, we're talking about a business. It's not a state of Japan. It's just a business.
You know what? All of you better duck, because I'm about to turn left, and I don't want to smack you with my dick.
This is ludicrous. Gemu is not... Anywho, Gemu is not having it with anyone that's not on his side, so he uses the cell metal and turns a civilian into a wasted yummy, one of the minions from O's, to set the record straight. And Sogo, being half of an idiot, finds Kuroto to be cool and goes to the Dan Foundation and discovers Yumi's terrorizing, like, Dan's employees. And this part is a bit... This next part's a bit questionable, because Sogo and Gates transform using the Wizard and Forze armor. Now, here's why I say it's a bit interesting or questioning. Like, Sogo can use the Forze armor without those big rocket hands on him. So it's like, can he do that for the X8 armor too? Because he only needs, like... Because the point of the hammer hands are for the finisher. But if he can take them off, then... Yeah, it just sounds like, at least for the Forze armor, if they gave him, like... I guess, like, elbow, like, rocket shuttle-shaped elbow pads. that would be pretty fine. That way there'd be nothing taking up that wrist things that he has on both wrists to carry ride watches on. Anywho, that's just an interesting... Anyway, that's just an idea that I thought they could have done that design-wise instead of giving him 2 bulky-ass rocket shuttles. Anywho, they take care of the minions, and Kuroto shows up and hears a ruckus out in his yard.
こいつが魔王か。魔王だと。I'm Batman. I'm the Dark Knight. I'm the hero the city needs, but not the hero it deserves. 私に向かって魔王ともたまるか、この愚か者めが!
And, just in case you didn't hear him the first time...
今の私は、ダン・クロトーだ!
My goodness, he's become the king of the Batman. We better stop him before he becomes the Emperor of Green Lantern and force Ryan Reynolds to a sequel. Moving on, Kuroto's done showing that he knows how to use Instagram, since he's constantly changing his names, and retaliates as another O's. And Sogo tries to be friends with him.
奇遇だね。俺も王様になりたいんだ。王だと。
Says the walking Birdman, talking about breaking away from a country when it's just a corporation. Like, seriously, claiming territory for you would mean closing off areas of your own business branches, or just maybe the main office, because you're not gaining anything from there. Having those closed areas part off to be, like, I guess part of your country or whatnot, that would still consider you having to cross into Japan to get there. I don't know. Anyway, a small little device that turns into an animal shows up and goes after Kuroto, and it's called a Hawkwatchroid. And while that happens, a ride watch falls out of Kuroto's pocket, or his possession, and Sogo, well, he...
待って！ちょっとソーゴ！夕飯の取りに使って先に帰ってて！王様待って！おっと！ありえへん！
Frankly, for as stupid as Sogo sounds, he still doesn't bring this episode down for me. That is Gates. Because, before getting into why Gates brings this episode down for me, I'm going to change the area of my laptop a little bit. Change my seating adjustments. Now, let's educate ourselves and get a quick history on the Dan Foundation. It started up in 2016 after Masumani Dan, aka KamenRider Kronos, died, meaning the Timejackers got to Kuroto and convinced him to kill his dad, and used the financial resources to monopoly. Also another thing, now I can get into this. Tsukomi and Gates have a KamenRider Gemu ride watch, and Gemu is another O's. Gemu was like X-Aid and came out in 2016. O's came out in 2010. Why are those two not connecting?
何か関係が。
とにかく、こいつには2016年って書かれてる。それは疑いようのない事実だ。行くぞ。
You decide. You see, they just didn't care.
If you ask me, Gates was more thorough than you think, since Wool warned him in advance about them ahead of time. And on to... Okay. Alright, I'm drawing back for a second. For starters, on another note, I'm gonna get back to this in a moment, but first, we're gonna talk about something else. Something that's more sensible, more entertaining for us. Hina from O's comes back in this episode and is Kuroto's designer. And Kuroto immediately starts hitting on her in the creepiest of ways that discovers Jeepers Creepers. Hina says fuck no to Kuroto, and Kuroto tries to kill her. So, one more... And so, as that happens... Forza logic of the concept of time and gravity that doesn't exist. Like, no one could honestly take that much time to do something, or so either Sogo's a very fast runner or Kuroto was taking his time to slap her, to which brings me to another thing. That's not how killing someone works. It's either you're challenging your secondary rider, or you one-inch punch them in the heart. Back to the plot. Now we have a moment to talk about the KamenRider Gates Gemu armor. Let me find a pic, and now I found a picture of it. This form could be a bit. This form's a bit herm for me. I think it's because of the red and purple together. But here's another thing I wanted to bring up that I forgot to in the episode 4 review about when I was talking about the X8 armor. The Gashat shoulders are not a bad idea. I say if they were like the full bottle shoulders, and they were pointing more vertically than horizontally, and were a bit shorter, then that would work just fine. So that's my first thing there, the shoulders. And I don't know what it is about this form. I think I'm just not a fan of it. Because I think I'm just not a fan of this form because it's the red and purple mixing together. No, it's the red and purple just standing out together. I don't know. I don't like that. I want to look up right now to see if there's a version of ZO using it. See if that looks better. None of which that I can see. Well, yeah, none of which that I can see. I can't find a version of ZO using the Gemu armor, but yeah, it's just I don't know what it is. It's probably that, like the red and purple coming together, well, standing out together, that I don't like. Just because, like, yeah, red and blue do make purple, but I don't know, it's like, red's not one of those colors that normally goes with purple. Well, I guess in this sense. So, yeah. Anyway, that's enough of that. And one more thing about the Gemu armor. Is it effective against another O's? No, because it's not being used against Gemu's another rider. To which Gemu doesn't have another rider in this show. They are facing in another O's. So the Gemu armor is useless against him. And as soon as they realize they fucked up, Tsukomi looks into the light and sees 2010 on another O's. Because apparently before, it was probably there was probably some cloud or something making it dark because she mistook it for 2016. And they didn't bother to realize that until they've been to 2016 before they didn't take a moment to realize that they've been to 2016 before and taken care of this matter. And so yeah. Anything else to add on to this stupid shit?
俺王様になりたいから王様を見て勉強したいさせてください
勉強残念だが私がいる限り王になるのは無理だ
Yeah, then how come in the future Sogo becomes like everything Kuroto wishes he could be? Seriously, for all the people that bag on Sogo for wanting to become a king, he actually becomes what he always said he was going to be in the future, for crying out loud. Anyway, realizing that they'll need another Ride Watch to actually beat another O's, thanks to Woes, because he's the last person in this show that actually has some goddamn sense, Sogo is going to be concrete about it and join Kuroto's party and call Gates and Discomi back from their wrong year, and Gates is not happy about it. Great job! Now you prepared him to kick your ass. And so it happens. Main rider versus secondary rider. And Sogo whoops the brakes on Gates' ass like he was talking a big game, but then he just goes at him, just whooping the brakes off his ass until he untransforms, and they get out of there. And so this episode concludes with Gates injured and Hina imprisoned along with Eiji. Finally, KamenRider O's, as he is a diet member of Kuroto's, that's a hostage, and the episode ends there. So overall, this episode could go either way. If you like Kuroto, that's good for you. I don't, literally because he's responsible for everything in X-Aid, and it doesn't change here. But still, what I don't like about this episode, not just as Gates, but because it's a two-parter, because two of the main characters fucked up and need to get their eyes checked. Because apparently you need to look and tell the differences between KamenRider Gemu and KamenRider O's. Considering that Gate, and it doesn't make it any better because Gates, he is a bit knowledgeable on Kamen Riders, since the last episode or last two-parter we were on, he knew a thing or two about Kamen Rider Wizard. So you're not helping your case here. Anyway, as for Sogo, I'm at least willing to give him the benefit of the doubt, because he could be planning to pull something off as a royal guard, since he's that close to Gemu as it is. He could have something there. Anything. But anywho, that's all I have for today's episode. If you enjoyed it, hope you did. And as always, like, subscribe, share this video if you want to. Don't forget to tell your friends about KamenRider Blackman. I am now 43 days away from my first 100 days video on YouTube. From my first 100 days as a YouTube channel. And the day that that's happening is December 14th. And I will have a video on that day. And I will most likely be talking about Dark Riders. But if there's anything you would also like me to do in that video, leave it in the comment down below. I would love to know I would love your suggestions and see. Because I've been doing this now officially for 2 months. since I started doing this in September. But thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and see you guys next time. Bye, everyone.